A very warm welcome to you all. I hope you enjoyed this splendid occasion, and thank you all for coming. With that, I declare this congregation in session for the conferment of awards.
Gentlemen, Steve Bell has for 30 years been Britain's most innovative and controversial political cartoonist. Steve was born in London in 1951, grew up in Slough, moved to North Yorkshire with his family when he was 17. He studied briefly at Teesside College of Art and then worked in the publicity department at ICI Billingham, illustrating the effects of fertiliser. Not much different now, is it, Steve? In 1970, he took a degree at Leeds, concentrating mainly on filmmaking. Throughout his time, however, he had a profound itch. And there was an itch that he kept scratching, and that itch was drawing. So he drew away, scratched away, scribbled away at everything that he could, because that's the way itches are. He drew at posters, cartoon strips, sketchbooks, doors, walls, anything to try and soothe the itch. When he graduated in '74, he took a variety of jobs, including teaching at Cramer College, one of the foremost art schools in Leeds. In 1976, he married Heather. They've been married for 30 years now, without, allegedly, a day of argument. Not an argumentative man, as you can see. They moved to Birmingham and he began working at Aston Manor School as an art teacher. He hated it, gave it up, and started doing something more difficult, which was trying to work as a freelance cartoonist. Difficult now, difficult then, but he kept scratching away. Since then, Steve has not looked back. He's drawn all manner of things. He's drawn periodicals ranging from titles like Whoopee, Cheeky and Jackpot, even an animated film with Bob Godfrey for Channel 4, and those of you tuning in on the radio this Christmas should tune in on Boxing Day, because we have a musical which he and also his son Joe has helped to write. That's 20 quid, Steve, for that one. But it's Steve's political work that has struck the most powerful chord with the public. Cartoon strips for New Statesman, Punch, Enemy, City Limits, Private Eye, and even The Clash, for those of you who are old enough to remember them. One of his first strips was called Maggie's Farm, lampooning the then Thatcher government in London's Time Out magazine. This was condemned by the House of Lords as an almost obscene set of caricatures. Clearly none of the lordships had bothered to cross the corridor and have a look in the Commons that year. The first If cartoon strip appeared in The Guardian in 1981. This was a visual commentary on the events of the world and proved particularly controversial during the Falklands War. Since then, Steve is the established editorial political cartoonist of The Guardian newspaper. Steve has developed an uncanny ability to predict political careers. For example, Prime Minister John Major as the useless Superman with his underpants over his trousers, Charles Kennedy as the decaying tugboat being towed to its destruction by a grinning Tony Blair, when isn't he grinning, or John Prescott as the simple-minded, bug-eyed bulldog looking for the odd leg to Harris. These images transmit something that words just can't. They make the powerful wince a bit, and I think that's healthy. Steve has always acknowledged his debt to those he draws. For example, when he received the award in 2004 for the best daily cartoonist, his speech thanked George Bush for looking like a monkey, walking like a monkey, and talking like a monkey. There were quite a lot of objections that year from monkeys. Today he is regarded as the leading political cartoonist of his generation. Steve has won numerous national and international awards to back this claim up, Cartoonist of the Year 9 times, and he's even been listed in The Observer as one of the funniest acts in Britain, comedy acts in Britain. Steve does more than entertain. While his sense of humour is endemic, his drawing skills are wonderful, his passion for a more inspirational view of humanity shines through. He spends a lot of time looking at us, and frankly, we could do better. It is for these reasons, amongst many others, that my children love his political work, because it reminds us all that there are more fools than monsters in the world. Steve continues to deflate buffoons, lampoon pomposity, and is proud to list as one of his hobbies as shouting at the radio. Behind the humour, there is a profound thinker that engages in the issues of his time. He is enlightening and inspiring. Above all, he is a genuinely original and gifted artist. Therefore, Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you and the University Steve Bell for the degree of Doctor of Letters in Honoris Causa.
You haven't got it yet. Steve, it's my great pleasure to admit you to the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa.
Thank you, Chancellor, and thank you, Mario, for those kind, very kind words, and they were mostly accurate, but we won't go into details. It's a double honour to be here, really. It's a tremendous honour to be here at this splendid event in front of all you young people in your finery, just about to embark on your careers. And it's humbling, really, to sit and watch you all. But it's a great honour just to receive the degree itself for something which is essentially doing what I enjoy doing. I'm very lucky to have that. And what I enjoy doing is ridiculing politicians, and I actually get paid for it, which I still can't quite believe. I'd like to thank Mario particularly. It's a double honour, as I said, because it's an honour to come here to Loughborough, because Mario mentioned drawing. Now, Mario runs the visual communication department here, and I think, I've watched him for some years, I've watched the department, the way it's grown. He's turned it into something of a powerhouse, if you like, of drawing, and it literally is now in a powerhouse in the town of Loughborough, which is acutely symbolic. But drawing's very important to me, and I think it's important, really. It's an important thing which has become neglected in the field of art education. So I'm really glad that Mario is promoting drawing in a very big way, promoting the skills of drawing. But drawing is much more it's not, because I was listening to the radio the other day. He said quite rightly my favourite occupation is shouting at the radio, and this was a case in point. And I was listening to an arts programme, and there was a famous, I won't name any names, but it was a former winner of the Turner Prize. Comment on the way art's become, but he was actually boasting that he couldn't draw. Now, this struck me as rather odd. Then I think it was a day later, I heard a well-known designer talking on the radio, and she was saying, well, it's design, it's not just about doing drawings. Well, fair enough, it's not, but drawing is important, it's vital. Drawing is not a witless occupation. And I thank you for this opportunity to come here, and thank you for this great honour. I was asked to supply any advice to you young people in your finery, all splendid, about to embark in the world, and I racked my brains to think. The only two things I could think of were, I'm sorry about this, one of them was, a lot of you might find yourself working to deadlines. I've worked to deadlines all the time, mainly for the Guardian newspaper. I do 8 a week, actually. But the one thing I learned very early on, is that always, when you're working to a deadline, hand the work in as late as possible, then there's less chance that they'll find anything wrong with it. It's a very wise rule of thumb. The other piece of advice was handed to me by my late father, which has stood me in good stead all my life, but I think he actually got it from W.C. Fields, and it's this: don't take any wooden money. Thank you very much. It's a tremendous honour. Thank you so much.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Loughborough University awards honorary degrees in recognition of distinction in industry, commerce, academia, sports, voluntary service, the arts, and many other activities. Julie Bradshaw, whom we honour today, has excelled as a world record-breaking long-distance swimmer whose achievements enhance this university's peerless sporting prowess, which you've heard about from the Vice-Chancellor. After school in Blackpool, Julie graduated from Loughborough with a BA in Physical Education with Sports Science and History, an MSc, also in PE, and a postgraduate certificate of education. After periods as head swimming coach in Toronto, and then in Melton Mowbray, more locally, she was appointed in 1996 as a part-time PE lecturer at this university. Julie's swimming CV is truly astonishing. In 1978, aged 14, she swam Lake Windermere and also Morecambe Bay, each over 10 miles, to set junior records that still stand. At 16, she became the first woman to complete a 31-mile three-way swim of Windermere, a 25-mile swim of Loch Lomond, and a 23-mile swim of 3 lakes, that's Windermere, Ullswater and Coniston, all in a day. At 17, she did a 42-mile four-way swim of Windermere. That's just for starters. She holds 15 long-distance world records and is the only person in history to have swum the English Channel using 2 different strokes, the front crawl and the butterfly. The swimmer she most admires, interestingly, is Captain Matthew Webb, who in 1875 became the first person to swim the Channel. If he were alive today, he would be in awe of Julie, who at 15 swam it in less than half his time. Her British junior record of 10 hours, 9 minutes still stands after 27 years. Swimming the Channel is, of course, the blue ribbon of long-distance swimming, and Julie has done it many times. Her proudest achievement is a world record of 14 hours and 18 minutes for her 2002 butterfly swim. She also holds world relay records for the first women's team to do a two-way crossing and a three-way crossing. Chancellor, that's around 80 miles. Not bad for someone who doesn't mind oil tankers but dislikes jellyfish. Julie has set further world records on Loch Ness with a 6-woman team, the first 50-mile two-way swim, and the first 75-mile three-way swim, all without seeing the monster, she tells me. She continues with these awesome feats. Her latest attempt was to swim 28 miles around Manhattan Island, only to be thwarted by Hurricane Dennis. She has twice run the London Marathon just to keep in training. Julie has raised thousands of pounds for charities, including Cancer Research UK, Breakthrough Breast Cancer, Childline, and Loughborough Rainbow's Children's Hospice. She makes regular presentations on motivation and inspiration and has been nominated for the Sunday Times Women's Inspiration Award. The ultimate accolade came in 2006, New Year's Honours List, with the award of an MBE in recognition of her services to swimming and to charities. Chancellor, in recognition of her inspirational role as an outstanding long-distance swimmer, I have the honour to present to you and to the University Julie Bradshaw to be admitted to the degree of Doctor of the University, Honoris Causa.
Julie, it gives me enormous pleasure to admit you to the degree of Doctor of this University, Honoris Causa.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, honoured guests. It is indeed a great honour and privilege to be here today, receiving my Honorary Doctorate from Loughborough University, and to be addressing you all. 20 years ago, in 1986, I graduated from Loughborough. Wow, doesn't time fly when you're having fun? And it's fantastic to be here again today. I must congratulate all you graduates on your hard work in achieving your academic success. For me, life has always been about working and playing hard, putting in what I want to get out of it. People often ask how I've achieved what I have. Believe me, it's not been an easy process, a roller coaster, as life is. However, I feel the key to my success and happiness, whether in career, sporting or personal life, is about positive thinking and mapping out one's goals, one's dreams. Vincent van Gogh once said, "I dream my painting and then paint my dream." Indeed, it's about holding that thought of what you want and turning it into a goal. For me, my personal dream at the age of 14 was to swim the English Channel, which I achieved by the age of 15 with the help and support of my family and friends who've always been there for me and continue to be so to this day. Therefore, I want to share with you all, especially those starting out or continuing on their career paths today, be positive, think positively. Let me tell you the story of Thomas Edison to illuminate, excuse the pun, my point. When working on the light bulb, his invention was by no means immediate. In fact, someone commented to him one day about his 5,000 failures leading to his invention. "Sir," he said, "I don't see them as 5,000 failures. Rather, I see them as 5,000 ways of how not to make a light bulb." Thus, he turned it to his advantage all by positive thinking. This is what I refer to as PMA, positive mental attitude. I'm sure some of you will be applying for jobs or have already been through the process. Some you will get, others you won't. The important fact is how you learn from the experience, that's the secret. Although I swam the English Channel Butterfly in 2002, it wasn't an easy path. I attempted it in 2000 and had to abort only 3 miles from France due to a recurring arm injury sustained from a previous 18-hour marathon battle in Lake Windermere a month before. Some of the media labelled it Julie's failure. It was the first time in my life that I'd set out to do a swim and not done it. However, I saw it only as an incomplete swim and learnt many lessons from it. I kept focused, thought positively, and 2 years later achieved my butterfly dream in world record time. Ladies and gentlemen, graduates, let me leave you with the following quote. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Either way, you'll prove yourself right. May I wish you all the best, follow your dreams and believe in yourself. Thank you.
This is Martin Luther King, of course. But it's an important thing. So indeed, I hope you have a dream. I also hope, in conclusion, that you've all really thoroughly enjoyed your time here at Loughborough and this wonderful thing we call the Loughborough Experience. I hope its influence will stay with you for the rest of your lives. And I wish you success and happiness in everything you do. Thank you. I now declare this congregation closed.